as we are about to get started, right, we have Shi Ling today. So Shi Ling is, in fact, the founder of UIlicious, right? In case you want to know more about that, definitely. Oh, you have a team member here too. Awesome, that's great. Yeah, so she's not just a founder, she's also has been coding since a very, very long time ago. So a lot of experience, and she loves and enjoy mentoring junior devs as well. So yeah, I'm sure we will have a lot to learn from her. So in this session, right, this session is titled, let me just put it out. It's called Don't Be Shy. How many of you are shy?
I'm shy.
She's shy. No one is shy. Wow, look at that. No one's raising their hands. Okay, that's awesome. All right, so don't be shy. How to ask your senior devs for help? Right, that's the title. Okay, how many of you are devs? Okay, that's great. Of course, you're on the right track. How many of you are aspiring devs? Okay, some are aspiring. That's great. So I think this is a great session because, like, you know, Shi Ling has come from vast experience about learning about, you know, that. And today, you know, we all know that sometimes we are shy, we may be paiseh, but I'm going to steal the thunder from her. She's going to get started, tell us how can we make the best out of learning from our seniors. So without further ado, let's give our hands to welcome Shi Ling, please.
Thank you. Hello? Yeah. Okay. So good morning, everyone. My name is Shi Ling. This talk is obviously don't be shy, so I want more people to sit in front. Please. I'm not going to eat you. I'm a very short person. I have to tiptoe.
Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 more seats. If you guys want to move in front, please feel free to.
Make this lower?
That's a good start to not being shy, everyone. Right?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I will be in front. I will join in.
Okay,
I need to learn too.
Yeah, so my name is Shi Ling. I am the co-creator, co-founder, CEO of UIlicious. We make testing a piece of cake, and that's all I'm going to say about that. And I started learning computer science in junior college, and I've been coding non-stop since then. I just fell in love with the craft of creating software, and I felt like a wizard when I could code stuff. So that's why I fell in love with programming and decided that that shall be my career. The one thing I wish was that growing up, I always wanted to wear a lab coat as a working adult, but I guess I could still do that. I just need to buy one from Lazada. Well, and then in university, I was a teaching assistant for about 4 semesters. I think there's a few reasons why the professors keep asking me back. One of it was that not only was I pretty good at coding, but I was also a female. And a lot of female students were very, very shy to ask for help. And a lot of professors are male as well, so they wanted a teaching assistant. I was being called back, and I covered quite a number of topics. I covered software engineering. I covered, I think, computational thinking, which was all about algorithms, and enterprise systems as well. And every semester I was only paid $500, and every time they asked me back, I was like, can I be paid more? And then they said, oh, we need more budget for that. We need to ask administration. Well, that was basically a no. And then at work, I do train and manage engineers. That's because if my junior engineers are more skilled, then I got less work to do, right? Obviously, I want to train them. Then I'm also a mentor at GeekcampSG, and we're going to have like our 3rd batch in next year, which I'll talk more about that later on. So over the past many years, I have mentored about 200 junior developers, and part of the reasons why I mentor junior developers is, again, I'm very passionate about coding, and I really want to see other people write good software as well. So another thing is I quite enjoy teaching. I get a sense of satisfaction when the light bulbs ping on their person's head. So that's one of the things that I feel very happy doing when I'm teaching people. So, and then one thing I found out as I do a lot of teaching over time in very informal settings is that I actually get to relearn some things and also discover something new. I'm pretty sure there are things that juniors know nowadays that I don't know. So I haven't like looked so much into new technologies like Flutter, like Svelte. Sometimes they talk to me about it, and I realize, this is actually a pretty interesting piece of technology. So, and another thing is there's simply not enough software engineers in Singapore. So we need mentors. So we need to help and train software engineers in Singapore. And another thing is that this one is I'm very passionate about. There's just simply not enough women in the industry. And again, women are generally quite shy to ask for help. So this is why I mentor junior developers. And why do we need mentors? So I think that there is knowing how to code, and then there is another level of knowing how to engineer itself, which is, I would say, if I were to draw an analogy to sort of like any work that is like craftsmanship kind of work. Anyone can hold a chisel and like just tinker away at a slab of marble, and you might get a okay outcome. But if you want to build a masterpiece, for example, it needs a lot of experience. You'll for sure make a lot of mistakes along the way. And the fastest way for you to learn is to shadow a mentor, learn from them, ask them. And because they have already made the same mistakes 100 of times before, and this is fastest way for you to learn is to seek a mentor and learn from them, rather than bumbling your way and trying to figure things out. And why am I giving this talk? So over the 200 junior developers I've mentored, the most common problem that I see in my mentees is I don't know how to ask my senior developers questions at work. They would ask me, and I would tell them, like, this question that you're having is a technical question that requires me to understand the context of your work. And you shouldn't be asking me these questions because I wouldn't be able to give you the right kind of help you need. You need to ask your senior developers at work. And then they would respond to me and say, oh, but I'm very shy leh, very paiseh. I was like, why is that to be shy and paiseh about? Oh, they're very busy all the time. Then I feel like I'm asking very stupid questions sometimes. Or maybe the question very obvious, then I'm bothering them. So these are the common anxieties people tell me out loud. I feel scared. I worry they ask stupid questions. My seniors are very busy, which is true. Seniors are always very busy, and this is probably the #1 reason why people don't want to ask their seniors questions. And then sometimes maybe someone's told them, you're so obvious, I don't know, man. So they feel stupid again. Another one is, this one is quite understandable as well, is that I don't know what kind of questions I should be asking. I know I don't know stuff, but I don't know what I don't know, so I don't know how to ask a question. Okay, so there are all these kind of anxieties that are pretty common with the junior developers, and the problem is they are so shy that they don't want to ask for help. And the problem becomes bigger and bigger. It snowballs into a bigger problem because they get stuck with the problem for weeks. They keep quiet to themselves, and then they keep waiting. They get more anxiety because they are stuck with this problem, and they've been working on this problem for weeks. And then after that, they pray, oh, is there a nice senior going to come and notice that I'm stuck? Oh, pray. But then the thing is, everyone is so busy. Who's going to notice that you're stuck unless you tell them that you're stuck? So then, sialah, deadline liao! Oh my God! Then you finally, because it's the deadline, you finally resort to asking a developer for help, and that's too late. And so this talk is about how to ask questions early, and how do you ask a question skillfully. And I'm going to say one thing before I move on to more about this topic is, one thing that I tell to every junior developer, I think every mentee has heard me say this before. As a senior developer, I cannot help you if I don't know you need help. So if you don't say anything, I cannot help you because I don't know that you need help. So again, don't be shy. Just ask the question. Now, how do you go about asking the questions? I'll talk about it. Now, if that sounds like you, these kind of anxieties are really, really, really common. And it's actually very relatable. I had these thoughts before when I was also studying. Sometimes I'm like, I feel very paiseh to ask my professor this kind of thing because he already covered in the lecture, but I still don't get it. So, but the way it's very common, it's very relatable, and with this 100% valid concern, yeah, your seniors are very busy, and nobody likes being disturbed when they're busy, right? But the thing is, we're not here to shame people for having social anxiety because it's a very normal thing to have. And what I'm going to give here today in this talk is a framework for you to open a question to your senior developers, and a framework for you to help them help you, basically. Okay? So this talk is mainly about how do you ask for help, specifically for a coding problem. And well, that's kind of assuming that you have nice senior, that even though they are busy, they are still willing to help you. This talk is not about like how to help you when your seniors are jerks, So I actually had these kind of questions in my mentees asked me before. If you have jerks, it's a very personal question. I can help you, but this is an offline topic to discuss. Okay, but there are ways to deal with seniors that are jerks. Well, how to ask for a question on Stack Overflow? I would just say go read the Stack Overflow guidelines. I would say this falls under the category of like how do you ask your senior developers who are jerks as well, because people on online are kind of like jerks sometimes. And then how to ask for help from your PMs, developers, business stakeholders. So this is another entirely different topic. It's an entirely different skill set, and I actually have a talk on that. That's in the junior developer mentoring program. Okay, so let's get started. Also, why do people have anxiety asking these questions? So they get a negative response. For example, why can't you see on PC, that kind of thing? Or like, oh, so obvious. You never read the docs, is it? Yeah. Oh, my hands are very tight now. Can you ask someone else? Or like, or figure it out yourself first. Or like, just no response. Yeah. Or it just left on red and then they never respond to you. So if you then you feel kind of stupid. You feel like you're bothering people. Now, it's not that your seniors are are lousy seniors. Maybe some of them are lousy seniors, but then they're just very busy, and a lot of them also are not trained to be mentors. They are not skilled mentors themselves. So, and usually if you're ever waiting for them to ever be free, the answer is they never ever be free. They will never be free. Their to-do list is forever growing longer and longer. One, it will never be cleared. So you'll never find an opportunity for them to be free. You need to sort of ask them to make the opportunity happen for you. Okay, so it feels like a very huge commitment to help you. And the reason why it feels like such a huge commitment because solving coding problems takes hours. So if I'm going to help you with your coding problem, it might potentially mean that I cannot do my task for half a day. So it's a huge blocker for me myself. So then how do you ask a senior developer to help you? You need to make it seem effortless for them to help, and basically help me to help you. So how do you ask for help skillfully? And I break this down into 4 parts of asking for help. The part 1 is how do you open your question and ask for help. The part 2 is when should you ask for help, the timing of it. Part 3 is what kind of help do you want? What's the process of help that you want? There's actually many ways for you to receive help. And lastly, what do you do after you receive the help? Okay, so first part is how do you open your question and ask for help? So I actually had this conversation with my junior devs before working with me. And then he's like, hi Shi Ling. Can I ask you a question? And then that's all. That's all. Hours later, I really wait for a few hours. And then I was just like, If there's any question that I would say is, I would usually say there's no question that's too stupid, right? But this is like one of the questions that I would say, this is a stupid question. You should just ask me. You already asked the question. Can I say no? But anyway, I'm a nice person. But I would rather you just tell me what is it that you need help with. Just get straight to the point because I'm definitely going to be engaged in a piece of work for hours. By the time I get to your question, hours has passed. You wasted time waiting for me to get back to you so that you can ask for permission to ask a question. Don't ask for permission to ask question. Another thing that I hear people say is, sorry, I have a lot of questions to ask. Can I ask them? Just ask the question. Okay, so there's an example of like how to be direct. Just ask the question. Now another thing is be specific. So this one is also a common phrase that I see with like fresh grad developers is like, hey, I'm stuck with an error. That's all they say. Hours later, voila. Can you just tell me what the error is? Like, just be specific. Tell me something like this. Hey, tell me the error specifically. Like, oh, I'm getting like this error undefined at this line, this file, this line, and I can't figure out why. Can I borrow your time for a bit? Then I would say, yeah, okay. I'll come over to you. Okay, so be specific. Now, the next thing is give me some context. So it will help me to understand what you're trying to do quicker. So here's another example following the previous example. about like, object is not undefined. So here you say, hey, I'm trying to redirect users to the team project after they accepted an invitation, but I'm having trouble retrieving the project ID, and I'm getting the error project is undefined at main JS 993, and I can't figure out why. Can I borrow you for a bit? So now you give me a context. I can search my database of the code base. And it's like, okay, there's so many ways where project is defined in ABCDEFG file. But if you tell me that you're trying to do this, implement this, redirect users after accepting a project invitation, I can roughly know which segment of the code base you are working on, and I can quickly help you with the issue that you're having. Okay, so that's number 3. Give context. Tell me what is the main task that you're working on. And then I want you to show me your workings before I come and help you, because I want to know that you actually put in some effort and you're not just like, I don't know how to do this, I give up already. Okay, so show me what you have at least done, some effort that you have at least tried to figure out yourself. So here is the same problem, but at least you bring out like, I don't know what's happening. I tried to check the network log, and the API is returning the project object is there. But I don't know why every time you try to access it, the project is undefined. Then I'm like, you probably don't know how to handle asynchronous events, and I can come and help you debug the issue and teach you how to handle asynchronous event properly. So show me your working, and tell me that you made some effort to figure things out on your own, and it also generally helps me to investigate faster, because I have seen where your tracks are, and I can figure out it can quickly eliminate some of the things I have to debug as well, because I already know what you have done, what is true, what is false, what is not yet known, what we need to go and test to investigate these issues. So show me your workings. Okay, so this is how to open your question and get help from developers. Okay, so another thing is when should you ask for help? There is asking for help too late, and then there is asking for help too early. So I'm going to talk about when to ask. But most people ask for help too late than too early. Okay, so don't wait until the last minute, because if you do that, right, you're sort of like asking the developer, we have a client meeting tomorrow, and now I have to drop everything so that I can help you finish the task, so that we don't embarrass the whole team. Okay, so this is super frustrating, super annoying to senior developers. Please don't do that to your senior developer. So your senior developers probably gonna hate you because you made them work overtime. And they will probably, because of like it being so last minute, they will probably have to do most of the work for you just to get things over the line. Okay, so don't wait until last minute. But then you don't want to also like give up too easily. But I would say like don't never give up. And set a budget for how long are you going to investigate this issue that you're stuck with. Set a reasonable amount of time. Let's say, I'm stuck with this issue. Let me spend another 4 more hours investigating it, trying to debug it, trying to read more about it before I give up, call it quits, and just ask someone for help. So you need to be reasonable, because you don't have an indefinite amount of time to solve a problem. You definitely for sure have deadlines, and so you need to clearly know where is the point where you need to ask for help. So I have a lot of junior developers. They will spend weeks and they only wait until the check-in, which is 1 week later, where we start doing the code review to say, actually I don't know how to do this. They say, why didn't you ask me earlier? Yeah, ho. Yeah, okay. But I think over time with experience, you also figure out when is the right time you should give up and ask for help. Okay, so one of the best time that is structured in specifically to solve this problem, if your company has it, is called daily stand-ups. And this is a rough structure of daily stand-ups. There's always 3 compulsory components of daily stand-up. What did you do yesterday? What are you going to do today? Where are you blocked? And the most important point for you to ask for help is, where are you blocked? And I have a lot of junior developers. I have to scold them quite a few times. Why didn't you raise the we've been asking you where are you blocked every day during stand-up. Why do you wait until the weekly check-in to tell me that this is what you're blocked at? You could have raised it 7 times in the past 1 week that you're blocked here, okay? But generally, because some people are too shy to ask for help, like this is part of the reason why we also have what do you do yesterday and what do you do today. Then maybe if we are saying like, hi, you've been working on this simple task for like the 3 consecutive days, maybe you're stuck, but you don't know that you're stuck. Then that's so this is actually one of the main purpose of the daily stand-ups, and the easiest opportunity for you to ask for help. Okay, so now when you want to ask for help, do you want to ask for help immediately? Like, oh, senior, can you help me like now? Like right after stand-ups. Like some seniors will agree. Maybe some seniors say, oh, maybe later because I really need to clear some tasks now. Then you have to go and ask them again, right? To make this easier for you to ask a senior developer to help you is to suggest a time and duration for the session with them. So this is one example. It's like I'm trying to implement controls for the reporting feature and I don't understand the code base. Can I have like 1 hour of your time after lunch today? So why I would say suggest a time and a duration is because you want to make it a simple yes or no for them. And you want to reduce the amount of decisions your mentor have to make. They have to make a lot of decisions over the day. So you want to reduce the burden of having to make more decisions by making it a simple yes or no for them. Instead of a yes, okay, now what time, or now where, okay, how long, you just decide all of these factors for them. Okay, so, and then, yeah, I would say that one pro tip is that after lunch is always a good time. People are usually in a good mood after lunch. Yeah. If they are hungry, right, they are going to be, they want to fast forward and rush through the help session, and you don't want that. So after lunch is a pretty good time to ask people for help. And since it's after lunch, you might as well buy coffee for them. They put them in a good mood too. Yeah, it's a gesture of appreciation as well. So do buy coffee or maybe buy them meal, buy them boba as well. Yeah, so there's 2 pro tips with like how do you schedule time with your senior developers. And then how do you ask for help, the process of the help itself. So there's many ways for you to receive help from developers and from your senior developers. I would say like there's a meter for this that is on one end is entirely driven by the mentor, the junior, and the mentor simply is a guide, guider, is just Yoda and say go there, use the force, feel it. And then another one is entirely driven by the mentor, and the junior just observes. So what kind of help do you want? Because if you don't communicate that, you more often than not, the senior is going to use the least effort to help you. But actually, maybe you actually need more help than the senior can thought you would need it. Okay, so on the spectrum of like least effort for mentor is just giving you directions. So and if that's what you want, is pretty straightforward to ask. You can ask for resources. Like, are there any recommended materials for learning Docker? Are there or maybe some directions on the code base? Like I'm gonna implement the reporting feature. Do you have any suggestion on where should I start in the code base to look at? Okay, so these are very specific questions that usually your senior developers can quickly answer you. Now another one is on the next tier is I need you to review my code because like maybe there's a bug I'm stuck on, or I need some suggestions, some improvements, or yeah. So you can be very clear and ask like, can I have a code review session with you? Can I ask to screen share? Usually these are like anywhere from a 30-minute session to like a 1-hour session. Okay, so the next one is you need someone to hold your hand. And you can ask for a pair programming session. This usually lasts for at least 1 hour to 3 hours. So you need to figure out like when you're asking for time with your developers, you need to sort of tell them, okay, can I have a pair programming session with you for this code base to implement this feature for 3 hours at the end of either the start of the day or the end of the day. So you can just suggest these things for them. But know what you want and communicate that to your senior. And then the last one is also a pair programming session, but it's entirely driven by the mentor. So this one is just the mentor showing you the ropes, going through the entire, implementing the full feature on his own, and narrating to you his thought process on how he or she is implementing the feature itself. And you are there as an observer to learn how they do things. Okay, so there are these 4 sort of grades of asking for help, 4 different ways to ask for help. Now, if you sort of don't communicate what level of help you want with your seniors, it usually leads to people being really, really disappointed. So again, I say, like, seniors are really, really busy, so they will put in the minimum amount of effort for you to help you. And usually another part of the reason is also they want you to figure things on your own, be independent, own the task, right? So that's another part of the motivation of why they usually give you the least amount of like help and guidance when you ask for it. But then if you don't specify the kind of help you want, and you actually wanted like pair programming session, and you get, here are the docs, go read it. You're obviously going to be very disappointed in the senior developer that is not giving you the help you needed, or maybe disappointed, and you'll still be a little bit lost because that you're not getting the enough information to complete the task, and you also waste more time because you still have extra steps to figure out, and possibly the quality of work is lower, so you still need to go through a few more additional rounds of code review. So, and then as a senior, of course, like, I want to make sure that you get the right level of help you need, so that we reduce the amount of back and forth that we have to come back and help you again. And usually when I come back and help you again, it goes from the left side of the gauge to the right side of the gauge, where we realize that, hey, actually, after you read the documentation, there are still more things that I realize you don't know. Then we need to up the scale. We need to do a code review. We need to sit down for pair programming so I can discover what you don't know. Okay, so yeah, so trying to communicate what kind of help you want. And then sometimes, but more rarely, you get the other opposite spectrum where your senior is super nice, super enthusiastic, wants to pair program all the time. Maybe he or she is very, very free, and actually you just needed some directions. So this is also a problem because you lose the opportunity to exercise your coding muscle. Okay, and own the task entirely. So I would say, like, also you want to communicate to your developer if they are giving you too much help and you just needed some directions, and you want to own the task and figure out your. I think the senior will be more than happy to let you autonomously figure things out on your own, and they will be very proud of you if you can figure it out entirely on your own. That means they can delegate more work to you. Yay! Okay, so yeah. So anyway, there are many ways to do pair programming. I highly recommend reading Martin Fowler's on pair programming. It's not a very long article. Just read it to learn what are the different modes of running a pair programming session and how to run it effectively. And important thing is that the senior and the junior, or like both parties in the pair programming session, needs to agree on what is the mode that they're running on. Because if you don't communicate that, you might get confused, like both people want to be the driver, then you start to argue. Yeah, so make sure that those expectations are set. So just a quick segue into pair programming over here. And then I would say that this is one thing I noticed that junior developers don't do often enough. They don't often enough ask to slow down. So they will just listen to the senior developer explain, debug very fast. Of course, the developers, they are very experienced. They know all the mistakes. They know all the shortcuts. They'll do things really, really fast. And if you're lost, right, you need to speak up, because as a senior developer, I don't know what you don't know. So you need to tell me that, oh, wait, hold on, slow down. I don't know what you're doing anymore. I'm a bit lost. Please explain to me why you're doing this instead of that. And then there you can learn, okay? So you need to tell your senior that to slow down, because they don't know what you don't know. Okay, so if you don't understand something, you say it. Don't just nod your head, oh. What does mean? Okay, so in these days, I learned to pick up on people saying like, okay, and then I'll ask them like, what does okay mean? Does it mean okay, I heard you, or is it okay, I understood? So these days I also always clarify in my juniors when they start, okay, you understand or not? No, actually I don't understand. I can explain again. Yeah, so it's if you understand something, also say it lah. You just say in clear terms. I understand, or I got it, or it's understood. We can move on to the next part now. Yeah. Okay, so it's also okay to ask them to, can you go back? Yeah, go back a few steps. Like they don't necessarily have to. Maybe you probably miss something like and maybe like 10 minutes ago, and you need them to go back. It's completely fine to ask them to go back as well. Another way of asking people to slow down. Okay. So now finally, how to and after you receive the help, what should you do? Of course, you should express gratitude. Okay, thank your mentor for taking the time to help you, because helping you with a coding problem means that they have their own work to do, and it takes a lot of time to help you with a coding problem. So thank them for their time to help you. Buy them lunch, buy them coffee, boba, when you hang out the next time. And then share the credit when you present your work to your senior. Just share them like, this senior helped me with this. Thank you for helping me. Next time I will do more of your work. And then people are more likely to help you again next time if they know that you are like grateful to receive their help. Okay, people will enjoy helping you. Okay, so and then I would say like help others. Once you receive the help, please document what you learn, so that people who ask your question, there will for sure be people in the future who will ask the same question as you. So document what you learn if possible. And one good thing about documenting what you learn is that it also help you to remember things better, remember what you learn better. Okay, and then try to notice when other people are struggling, like during daily stand-ups, they keep saying, I'm doing this today, and I'm doing, which is the same thing they've been doing yesterday for the past 3 days, and then maybe they're shy. So maybe you want to ask them, do you need help? Are you stuck with anything? It turns out a lot of times when I actually ask people, are you stuck? Like you've been working on this for 3 days, and they was like, yeah, actually I think I'm stuck. Yeah. So okay. So. In summary, this is how to ask for help skillfully. All these slides are on this URL. You can take a photo of this if you want to. And if you're a senior developer, you can share with your junior developer. If you're a junior developer, you can share it to more junior developers, and so that they learn how to ask for help skillfully. Okay? Okay, so yet again, I would say don't be shy. I'm gonna help you if you don't tell me you need help. So please tell me. Sorry. Go back to the previous slide. Too fast. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. The previous. Oh, you want
the QR
okay,
code?
okay.
I think. Yeah.
QR code. Take photo. Take photo.
All right. With that, thank you very much, Shi Ling.
I still have a bit more.
Still got more.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
not done yet.
Yeah.
There we go. Keep going.
I need to mention the Junior Developer Singapore program. Okay, so I know there are some people who say, oh, but Shi Ling, I joined a startup and then like there are no seniors around, so I had to figure everything out myself. I've been there before because I joined a startup and a lot of the seniors were as blur as me. So if you're in that situation, you can join JuniorDevSG. It's a community for supporting and championing junior developers in Singapore. We have mentors of a diverse background, from working in the public sector, private sector, startups, enterprises, governments, male mentors, female mentors. If you only want to talk to female mentors, that's fine, I'm there. Yeah, there's a community of other juniors, and some of them have graduated, hopefully, from being a junior to a senior, and then maybe come back to help as a mentor. But if you are interested to receive some mentorship, we have an upcoming batch that is starting next year in January. We have extended the deadline, I heard. The registration deadline is 3rd of November, and there are 2 tracks. One is the career mentoring track, one is the code mentoring track. And then under the code mentoring track, you can ask, there's really a lot of different kinds of seniors there, like front-end seniors, CSS seniors, JavaScript seniors, JavaScript seniors, there is like back-end seniors, data science seniors, DevOps seniors, all sorts of seniors. Seniors that know every single infrastructure there is as well. Okay, so a lot of resources for you. So I highly recommend joining the program. You can, if you're interested to volunteer as a mentor or sign up as a mentee, more QR codes, and that's the end of my talk.
All right, all right. Once again, let's give it our good round of applause to Shi Ling. In fact, Junior SG is an amazing program. I believe Max is also here. You're part of the program too, so you can ask him. You got to find out more. I'm sure many of you are part of that. Right, so we have heard from Shi Ling in the past, I believe 30 minutes, all the amazing tips and tricks. Right, we'll talk about being punctual, timing, asking the right questions, giving gratitude. I think it's a great tips. Right, so right now we have about 10 minutes of Q&A. Right, there are two ways of doing it. You can either go to Discord, go to the track. There is actually a link for you to post your question. But I would think that we don't need that, right? That's for shy people, right? If you are not shy, we'd like to make this also an open Q&A. You can raise your hand. We will love to pass the mic to you. You can ask the question. You have the best person here to answer your questions on how to address, your questions best to your seniors. Anyone in mind? Okay, otherwise, if you want to get started and do online, we won't stop you. I'll watch the screen here. Also, it's on Discord, right? Check it out.
I think I'm like the first speaker, so I'm here for the rest of the day. If you want to catch me while I'm eating, also can.
Yeah, you can't miss her, right? Check out the back of her shirt. There's a speaker, right? Look out for all the speakers. In fact, organizers, speakers, you can identify them easily. Right, so I haven't seen any questions coming in yet, but in case you want to post questions, go to Discord. Under the general track, you should see a list of talks. Select the talk, and then you can actually go to the link in there and post your question. Live track 1, that's where you can see, under live track 1 as well. If you guys need help, Patricia is at the back, she can help you to get there. But otherwise, it's a small, cozy room. Feel free to raise your hand and ask a question. But as we're waiting for questions, right, I thought I'll share a bit of my own experience. Right, Shi Ling talked a little bit about asking to borrow your seniors' time. Can I borrow your time a bit, right? I think there's a few of that. So the way I usually do that as well is I usually like to make them feel good. Like imagine if your senior is an expert in CSS or maybe database. I usually will go like, hey, maybe Tom, I heard that understand that you are the best person in the team that knows CSS the best. I'd like to get your expertise a little bit. Do you mind if I borrow a bit of your time? And that usually adds on a little bit more reason for them to like, I feel good. Let's help this junior. Then of course don't forget to pay it forward, give gratitude and stuff like that. So that's usually my experience. All right, so with that said, we still have about some time. What time is it now? Can someone give me a time? I should have rolled my watch. Level 5. We have 10 minutes before our next talk. I know our next speaker, Jules, is waiting. But no worries. We have some time. Make this an open session. You guys can, if anyone wants to share their experiences as well, I think this is a nice forum to do that. We're all learning from one another.
Want to share their tips.
Yeah, or seniors, any seniors here want to talk about their experiences and how you feel that you can best help your mentees, the junior devs as well. Please raise your hand, we can share. Guys, remember, this is a don't be shy session. Yeah, it's your first chance to try that. Everyone's so shy.
Yeah.
Right, anyone? Or anyone has posted questions? Not yet. I don't see anything coming up. Anyone? No? Everyone is now walking away. Yes, Pat, you have a question. Yeah, do you want to pass the mic?
So how do you know when to stop searching for answers on Stack Overflow and to ask your senior dev? Because I experienced the problem of, the answers on Stack Overflow somewhere, right? Maybe I'm not searching hard enough.
Oh yeah, I know what that feeling. So like you always think that you're almost there. You just need one more hint. But then you need to be realistic because there's actually a deadline, right? So usually I try to break down the task by parts. And I give myself like, okay, I'm going to spend like 4 hours, at most 4 hours. And even if I find another hint, if 4 hours have passed, I'm just going to like, okay, ask the senior developer. But it really depends on the complexity of the task. If your task is like a task that seems like a 2 weeks task, and then it's okay to spend like 3 days trying to search for the answer. But like if 3 days and you're not really finding very solid hints, right? And grasping at straws, you just set a time limit, like, okay, 3 days is the max. Yeah, but I would say usually like spending a full week on a task is getting close to unreasonably long. Yeah.
Good question. Thanks for starting us off. Anyone else? Any burning questions? We have 3 minutes before we swap tracks. Sorry, swap talks to the next speaker. That's what I meant. Anyone else? Everyone's walking away, feeling not so shy, hopefully, after today. Yes, we have a question, sir.
Do you have any advice for how senior devs can encourage their juniors to ask questions?
I would say that I would say that the daily stand-ups is the most useful structure to have, and try to pick up on some clues. Maybe some of it is like you also need to look at the personality of the devs. So you can see that some personalities, they tend to be very shy. And those shy personalities, they would tend to try to not talk about the blockers. But you can see, but that's why we have the first two questions, like what did you do yesterday, what did you do today? And if you keep repeating the same thing for like the third day, then there's some clues that they are blocked, but they don't know that, maybe they don't know they're blocked. Maybe they're in the situation as like, I just found a new hint yesterday, maybe this path might work, and they're going to try that path. That's kind of the time where you think you probably should intervene already. So I usually try to look for these signals and try to intervene when I start to see this pattern forming. Yeah.
Thank you, Shi Ling. I hope that helps. All right. Okay. So one last chance before we end this session. Anyone? You had a question, sir? Nope. Scratching your head. No worries. Don't be shy. Once again, this is a not be shy session. In fact, we are a cozy room. 5 seconds. Oh yes, we have a question. Yes. Can I pass the mic to you?
Actually, senior dev also sometimes face the problem of asking other senior dev.
Very true, right?
And sometimes, especially when you're a new person, you just come in, right, as a senior dev, right? Then the expectation you get from the person asking you is very different because you're not a junior dev anymore, and they just expect you to be able to read up the code on your own very fast. So sometimes it's a very challenging situation. So, do you have any tips on how to manage expectations with other senior devs?
So I had to onboard a few senior devs before, and usually I wait for them. I expect them to take the initiative to ask me what sort of help they need . So but if they don't tell me what sort of help they need, I'll start asking them like, do you need like a code walkthrough? Usually I start from the on the highest level, but then sometimes maybe you don't get like the nice senior, then you have to take initiative. I think that's sort of the expectation for senior developers, is that you should be taking the initiative if you need help. That's all I can advise, I guess. Yeah.
And don't be shy, ask for help.
Yeah.
All right, with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of today's session with Shi Ling. Once again, please